Are you ready? Are you sure? Okay, the secret formula is...
What is the Krabby Patty secret formula? We're gonna try to figure that out in this video. Let's go to the episode Friend or Foe. In this episode, it's revealed that Mr. Krabs and Plankton made the formula together. But it was originally they made a patty called the Krabby Patty. And it was proved to be disgusting as it KO'd Old Man Jenkins. And when Plankton and Mr. Krabs were fighting over the recipe and ripped it apart, Plankton slammed the door and it knocked lots of bottles into the Krabby Patty formula. And that's what it became, the Krabby Patty formula. So anything that made the Krabby Patty formula became the Krabby Patty ingredients. So they have the same ingredients, so let's remember that. In this shot right here, Plankton is holding the Krabby Patty recipe, and it says it's 2 parts seaweed sauce, 1 part squid ink, and 3 parts dried kelp. Which means that some of the Krabby Patty formula is seaweed sauce, squid ink, and dried kelp. And when the Krabby Patty formula got ripped and Plankton only got half the recipe, the only thing it said was, and a pinch of chum, which reveals that chum is part of the Krabby Patty secret formula. Also in the episode Spy Buddies, where Mr. Krabs, who really is Plankton in disguise, opens the safe to the Krabby Patty formula, we see the Krabby Patty formula for a second, and it reveals that it dives into molecular physics, which could be the reason why people love Krabby Patties so much. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into theories that people made up so they could find out what the Krabby Patty formula was made out of. So let's get started. So the first theory I'm going to talk about is that the Krabby Patties are made out of nothing. So this is a theory that some fans believe, but here are the reasons why I don't think the theory is true. So people think that Mr. Krabs is telling people that there's a secret formula in it and that's why people like it. But that's clearly not true, because if you look in the episode Friend or Foe, they say the reasons why they like the Krabby Patty, and here's what they say.
Edible! We can actually hold it down!
Also, if the Krabby Patty formula was nothing, then why would Mr. Krabs be so worried about Plankton trying to get it? Another theory was that the Krabby Patty secret formula was made of King Neptune's Poseidon powder. Now, if you don't know, Poseidon powder is another name for cocaine. So a lot of people believe this theory because of a page on the SpongeBob wiki saying that it was made out of it. And a lot of people believed it when in reality it was actually just fake. It was edited by a random fan. I don't know why they did that, but either way, it's just, I want you to know that it's not true and don't believe everything you see on the internet. The next theory I'm going to talk about is that the Krabby Patty formula is made out of crab meat. Now there's a lot of evidence to support this theory. Like, there's a scene in Midlife Crustacean where Mr. Krabs, eats an old Krabby Patty, and he says, so that's what it tastes like, which could mean that it is made out of crab meat. However, what he meant by, so that's what it tastes like, is actually because earlier before he says that, a woman tells his son that the Krabby Patty is old and dried out like Mr. Krabs. So what Mr. Krabs meant by that is that the Krabby Patty is old and dried out like him. However, one of the crew members who worked on SpongeBob said that there's no meat in the Krabby Patty, which means that this theory isn't true. So the final theory I'm going to talk about is that the Krabby Patties are made out of a whale. So someone came up with this theory. So the story is, Mr. Krabs came across Pearl beside the dead carcass of her mother. So Mr. Krabs decided to adopt Pearl and use the carcass of her mother to make the Krabby Patty. So, now here's the twist. Apparently, when her mother's meat stopped supplying, Mr. Krabs would slaughter Pearl so he could use the meat for the rest of his life. However, there are many things wrong with this theory, because in the episode Whale of a Birthday, we see Mr. Krabs with It's a Boy banner, which means he's a biological father. I mean, if she was adopted, then how would he have that? So yep, disproved. They probably think this theory video is done.
Not quite.
Because I have my own theory on what the Krabby Patty formula could be. So my theory is that Krabby Patties are made of plankton.
What?
That's what I thought you said. Now let me offer this as a rebuttal. Stay back! I'm warning you!
All right, now you're just acting silly. I want you to...
No! Don't eat me! I'm too chewy! Ah!
Oh, calm down, SpongeBob. There is one piece of evidence to go against this theory. In the episode Plankton's Army, Mr. Krabs fools Plankton into believing that Plankton is in the Krabby Patty. And Mr. Krabs tells Squidward that it was a joke. So which implies that maybe there isn't Plankton in the Krabby Patty. So what do you think the Krabby Patty secret formula is? Do you think it's crab, whale, or nothing? Please let me know in the comments below.